Welcome, everyone. Call this meeting to order. To acknowledge that the Northern Rockies Administration Center is located in the heart of the traditional territory of the Dene, Cree, and Dene Sa people of Fort Nelson and Prophet River First Nations. We further recognize the rights provided by our treaty, and we also celebrate the contributions and the enduring presence of the Métis people in our region. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available for the public to attend virtually, is being streamed and recorded. Are there any additions, Council? CAO? Okay. Anything from the public? Okay, a motion to accept the agenda. Brenda, I'm sorry, Councillor Enax and Councillor Andrews. Oh, I guess we don't do that. We just, sorry. Okay, yeah, I forget. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So taking us to 5.1, Committee of the Whole Report 0825. Hello, Miss Vandersteen.
Hello, good evening, Mayor and Council. This report comes to just with some additional information for discussion. It is presented, oh, sorry, I jarred you, within the 2025 budget process, but we thought that it might be good for this to come to Council for a little bit of discussion outside of that process. So we've put forward to potentially update our GHG action plan as well as the child project, the community energy management plan, because they're quite out of date. We don't currently have a process for monitoring or tracking any progress being made with reductions, as well as just the stark difference between what our goal is within those plans as with against what the province is currently moving forward with. So this report just comes to you for discussion to see if you would like to proceed with it in the budget process, or if you'd like to have more conversation or information outside of that process.
Great, thank you. Council, any discussion?
Is this something mandated from the province that we have to do? What if we don't?
Yeah, so I think technically we meet the requirements. There are requirements for us to have targets within our OCP. But right now that's a 6% per capita up till, I believe, 2020. So we're past that. I haven't been told that we're outside, like that we actually have to update at this point, but there is requirements within the community charter for us to have it within our OCP.
Okay, I'm thinking that spending more tax dollars on greenhouse gas emissions and control when the municipality doesn't have a whole lot of control over the amounts, and it's kind of killed the industry in our community. I don't see me wanting to go forward with it.
Yeah, so we are proposing to use LGCAP funding, so that would be provincial grant funding specifically to help communities align with and move forward in connection or alignment with the Clean BC roadmap to 2030, as well as the climate preparedness and action strategy of the province. So we aren't proposing any tax levy budget.
Oh, which I can definitely appreciate. But we know the grant funding's taxes as well. I mean, it's just not directly from us. Like, it's a great report. Lots of good information in it, though. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Souls?
Yes, thank you for the report. I think I was under the impression that it was provincially driven, as which of course the framework of it is. As far as our own involvement, as far as our own responding to it, I think that this, given that there's funding for it and having discussion around the greenhouse gas requirements might be kind of useful for us, because somewhere along the line we're going to have discussion about energy, period. in our community as to where it comes from and how we're going to keep the lights on. This is getting when you don't have a guarantee of gas for very long. In our scenario, what is its replacement, or is there, and are there options? Because I think that it's interesting to have a one size fits all type of expectation in a province of energy reduction and energy management when we don't have a stable energy source is a little bit more of a priority in my thinking.
Thanks. Counselor Enox, any comments?
Just one about the concern of
Is the mic on?
Whoops, sorry. The concern about them updating the plan provincially and federally. Should we do it now, Krista, or should this be something that's set aside and wait to see if there's any changes to be made?
So based on what we've been seeing, and even with the LG cap, we have seen prior to this year, it was only required for reporting for communities over 10,000. In December, it went out that as of starting this year in 2025, that communities over 5,000 would be required to report. So although we don't have any magic ball or crystal ball that says when that might happen, there is a likelihood into the future that we will be required to report on all of our emission and the projects that we're undertaking connected to that funding. Right now, we're so far off from what the provincial and the federal goals and are that either way, whether or not we wait and they get even more strict and we're even further behind, I think that either way, we're probably going to have to do this at some point, and it's just a matter of when. Is my thoughts.
So I'm very conflicted on this one. So I'll bounce around. I think it's a really good idea, and I don't know if it would be within this plan, but in the report you include this project would sort of outline what or how we can use that LCAP funding. So for me, I could spend the LCAP funding myself, quite easily. And I'm sure all of us could, right? We all have projects that we want to see move forward that would fit in here. What I don't want to see is the project of the day get approved without there being a roadmap as to where we want to use this LCAP funding. Something comes up, we'll use that, and something else, we'll use that. I would like to see some sort of a strategic direction on how and what we want to use that funding for. How that relates to tracking our greenhouse gas emissions, I struggle to make that connection. I also struggle in that I think that we can be reducing our greenhouse and should be reducing our greenhouse gas emissions in everything that we do. That just from my perspective should be the order of business. And I don't know that we need a report to tell us that. I'm uncomfortable with the prospect of spending 75,000 or whatever it happens to be on a report that could be relevant or not relevant. So yes, I'm glad that we're not making any decisions at this meeting. That's kind of my feeling. And it was presented to the EAC as outlined in the report. And you did an excellent job in outlining the concerns of the EAC. They also thought that there could be some benefits to it. So those are my thoughts. Okay. Anything else? Alrighty then. There was nothing under new business. Thank you, Ms. Vandersteen. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You as well.
Okay. No additions. Anything from the public? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, I'll call this meeting adjourned.